This is the newest Ferrari, and I'm standing with the designer of this car, Sergio Pininfarina, who has designed so many of the Ferraris over the years. And before that, your father. Tell us a little bit about the heritage of designing Ferraris. First, your father designed the early Ferraris?
Well, Ferrari is 50 years old. That is, it was born Ferrari in 47, and my father started to cooperate with Ferrari in 52, many years ago. I was a young man out of the university, but I was very inclined for Ferraris because I was very sport-minded. So in a few years, my father gave me the responsibility of this Ferrari activity. And I must say that Mr. Ferrari was not very happy because he wanted the old man, not the young man. But I think with my work, I got his esteem first, and I became very close to Mr. Ferrari and to the Ferrari company.
How many Ferraris then have you personally designed?
Oh, at least 70 during the years. And these are the most challenging projects in my life because the performance are very high, the prestige is incredible, the tradition is very strong. So every car, every Ferrari you design, you must respect the tradition, improve the performance, say something new in image. It's not an easy task, but it has been successful up to now.
How many ideas do you get from Formula One performance of the Ferraris? Do you use a lot of that technology in your design for the street cars?
Technology, I try to use as much as I can in technology. In design, I think it's not only the Formula One, it's all what going around the world, scientific activity. My ideal is to combine science, technique and aesthetic. In my opinion, you cannot only be a creative designer without knowing the technique and knowing sciences. If not, the progress is, is just for one moment, but it doesn't stay in the years. And therefore, I definitely believe to this ideal of, like Mr. Ferrari was races and technique, for me is aesthetic and technique.
Is there one car out of all the ones you've designed that you're most proud of?
And difficult to answer because this morning is, for me, is it's a very extraordinary morning because I saw so many customers happy and so many people enthusiastic. They look at me, they thank me when because they had something nice and they keep it. So to say one is better than the other, some of them I like it particularly, but I don't want to say which one, which is which.
Do you expect the new ones that we're looking at around here to have the same kind of pleasure reading that so many of these older models have and the appreciation and investment value?
I'm sure that the 550 will be a great success. First of all, because mechanically it's the best Ferrari ever built. And as far as design, I think it keeps something advanced in design, but it's very rational because you can have this car, you have more room than before, more luggage room, so you can use it for pleasure, looking for sport, using for sport, and even to go to the office.
And the engine's in the front, that's a radical change, isn't it?
It's a completely change, radical, because the engine in the front means a different architecture altogether from the engine in the middle. Years ago, it was impossible to make a high-performance car without the engine in the middle. Now, with the progress in technology, there is no difference practically because the technology means the distribution of weight, the braking, the traction makes perfect. And so the new layout with the engine in the front is much more rational.
Let me ask you one final question. Who else are you designing cars for now? Because you've done them for so many manufacturers, including Ferrari.
Well, we are independent. We are an independent, and I think one of our good points is to design many cars, not only one kind of car, not to have one philosophy, but to follow the general philosophy of design. Certainly between all the makes, Italian, American, Japanese, European, all the makes, Ferrari is something unique in the world because it's small, because the prestige, the image, the performance is fantastic for an engineer, like I am.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet the legendary Sergio Pininfarina, who has designed so many of the